Everybody, it's Misha Fayon. I am so sorry I'm late, but it's been a heck of an afternoon. Good thing that you don't have to be perfect in this world. My nose is shiny. Um, anyway, let's hop in and talk about insulin resistance this afternoon. I want to do the whole talk today and help everybody understand why you're feeling sick. So, there's one thing that's at the root of almost everything that we're suffering from right now, and that's insulin resistance. So, whether it's migraines, headaches, body aches and pains, excess weight, muscle cramps, arthritis, gut issues, all of this links back to insulin resistance. And what that is because our food is imperfect and it's converting imperfectly in our system, allowing too much insulin in the system, which I'm going to go over in just a minute. And we're going to see why this happens. So, insulin resistance is affecting 93% of us. It's at the root of almost every disease and disorder that we have today. And some doctors are now starting to speak up and realize that unless it's like a virus thing or an accident, almost everything that we're suffering from actually is linked to insulin resistance. One of those things is CVDs, heart disorders. 80% of heart disorders are linked to long-term hypertension or high blood pressure. 95% of high blood pressure is linked to insulin resistance. So you're funny. Um, so insulin resistance is just really when we eat food that converts into sugar too quickly in our system, and that is driving the need for insulin too much in our bodies too often. When that happens, like with anything, when there's too much of a good thing, it becomes a bad thing. And that's at the bottom line what happens with insulin resistance. Now, I want to talk about this really quick because people ask me all the time, well, I'm not diabetic, I'm not pre diabetic. Why is this happening to me? Why isn't this being caught? Well, look, if you have insulin resistance, you could have that for 20 years before it shows up as diabetes. And it only shows up as diabetes when every other cell in your body, including your fat cells, starts saying, nope, not having it. And it starts spilling the blood sugar back out into your bloodstream, where it turns into this high blood sugar and high A1C. So, are you the same person who just said I look old and am letting myself go? Because you can just go. I don't need to prove statistics to you. You can go look them up. I quote them in a number of my videos. So, let me turn on the chat over here. It seems like today, you guys take a deep breath. It seems like today I've gotten every weirdo in the world and every weird thing in the world happening, and that's okay because I got big shoulders. I can take it. So insulin resistance is the problem for most of us. And yes, a number of doctors, including Dr. Fung, Dr. Bickman, hey Steffi, Dr. Pardeep, Dr. Lee, Dr. Yao are all linking insulin resistance to almost everything that we suffer from. So it's not just me saying it. Hey, Steph, guys, over on Facebook and YouTube, I have my good friend Steffi here with me. So bear with me as we go through this. She paused it. Steffi is Nurse Steffi. Let's see, how can I do this so they can see you? I don't know.
I can totally see myself. We're like, I just listen, guys. I just was scrolling through, and I oh, hold on a second. I heard some troll something, and I'm like, dang it, I gotta hop on. Like, listen, we have doctors, nurses on TikTok talking about this, and I just want to say that numbers don't lie. Okay. Misha was talking about elevated A1C, and can I share something with you?
Go ahead.
This is my little prop that I show people. Sticky blood.
There we go.
So when you've got that insulin resistance, your blood is very, very sticky, okay? And things aren't flowing properly. And when you have sticky blood, you have all of the issues that Misha was talking about earlier, all of the chronic health conditions, and unfortunately, Western medicine that I've experienced, they're not really doing the tests that they need to get it at the beginning stages. By the time, what Misha was saying, by the time it's showing up in your blood sugar, or by the time it's coming up on those tests, how long have you been struggling for? What's the statistics, Misha?
Oh,
How
how
many
long
years?
had I been struggling? So I started struggling with a number of these issues. My blood pressure went up in my late 20s, but I was starting to put weight on in my early 20s. And a number of the other things, I was starting to lose my joints. I'd been having leg cramps. I'd been having a number of those other issues since my late teens. There's a reason for that. I had PCOS in my early 20s, right? Nobody linked PCOS to insulin resistance. Nobody told me that the reason I was having painful and irregular periods or that I couldn't conceive, I was going to the doctor twice a month back in the day to figure out why I couldn't have children because I wanted children really bad. So for me, it had been, by the time we figured out that it was diabetes, it was over 30 years. Over 30 years.
Wow. 30 years being insulin resistant when now we know, okay, that we can ask for a simple blood test, the fasting insulin levels to know ahead of time. It's just a shame, that that's why we're doing what we're doing, to bring this information to you and to ask better questions of your medical providers. And if you're not satisfied, find somebody else or get a way to, figure out this insulin resistance, because there are physical signs and symptoms that are indicative of the insulin resistance. And if you really pay attention to Misha's page, and what we're talking about, you're going to be like, OMG, like I have insulin resistance. And the statistics are 88%, and now they're saying even higher, right?
Yeah, now it's 93%. And that's what somebody was asking what the statistics were, but they weren't just asking, they were being a butthead. So, but yeah, the old statistics were 88% of us were insulin resistant. The new statistics are, or metabolically unhealthy. The new statistics are 93.5% or something like that. So less than 7% of us have metabolic health. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, somebody's asking about neuropathy pain. We both have success stories on our page with neuropathy pain. What happens is, when we're talking about that sticky blood, the blood vessels, the tiny blood vessels in your feet, okay, you're not getting that circulation. You start getting wounds, you start getting, numbness and tingling in your feet. And it's because of, now we're talking about diabetic neuropathy, okay? We're not talking, there's different kinds, right? We're specifically talking about diabetic neuropathy. That sticky blood is impacting your entire system, your entire body. Your blood circulates everywhere. So it's an offender of everything. Your eyes get impacted. Look at her feet right here. Perfect example.
Yeah, so I had neuropathy and edema. I had neuropathy in my right arm as well. You guys, I couldn't even hold a cup of coffee. I couldn't hold a glass of water. It would slip out of my hand. So my feet used to be so swollen. I knew that I was headed towards those wounds that Steph is talking about. The top picture is 2 years ago. The bottom picture, I had been on a plane to Panama. And so I was on and off planes all day, and you can see the vascularity in my feet, no swelling whatsoever a year after being on the system.
Wow. I'm going to ring my bell.
Woo-woo.
Yay. So Misha, she has personal example, but how long did it take? Like some people I've noticed with the success stories that we're getting, some people 6 weeks, some people 6 months. How long did it take you, Misha?
So my neuropathy, the swelling started going away within the first 2 months, as well as the neuropathy. I would say the majority of my neuropathy and swelling was gone within the first 3 months. And after that, I was just shocked every time I would fly, because it used to be I had to wear diabetic foot socks. I had to wear shoes that were a size bigger than I normally wear. I thought I used to tease my mom that I was going to buy stock in a diabetic foot sock company because I couldn't wear regular athletic socks anymore. And within 3 months, I was able to get rid of all of those diabetic foot socks. I was able to get rid of the shoes that I had to buy that were a size too big because they were sloppy. I actually gave them away. And I was able to get back to the coolest thing was I had a pair of nursing shoes that were hard plastic, Danskos, and I was able to
Yeah.
get my feet back into those comfortably, and I hadn't been able to get those on my feet for over 2 years. So that was crazy. Yeah, so she's talking about the sticky blood.
The pain is, yeah, the pain is really, really bad. We've had people say, I have personally had people say that they've asked the doctor to just chop their foot off because of the pain is so intense. But the reason why is because we're going back to the diabetic neuropathy, the thick blood. Your blood vessels in your feet, in your hands, and going to your eyes is so tiny that literally it's being suffocated from the oxygen and nutrients, and the pain is because you're not getting oxygen. And taking gabapentin is not going to actually resolve the issue. Now, Misha, I know you've probably mentioned it before, but please update us. How many medications were you on before the system?
10. I was on 10 different medications. But I want to say, it's not just, I don't know what I just did to my computer here. It's not just the sticky blood, you guys. When it does cause an anaerobic state in the body. But insulin resistance causes a misfiring, not only of the neurons, but between the nerve centers in your body. So it starts misfiring and causing pain or numbness in different areas. So yes, it starts with the blood, and that can be part of it. But we get these anaerobic states where energy just is not taking up properly, and so it cannot fire properly. And you're either getting over firing in some areas and not firing in other areas. So you may have some numbness in some places and extreme pain, nerve pain in other places. It all links back from insulin resistance. Dr. Bickman talks about it in his book. I was just going to look it up while you're talking.
I love that book.
It's my favorite thing. I got little notes everywhere in it. You guys, a lot of the information that I give you, it's not me that's smart. It's not me that's gone and done any of this stuff. It comes from doctors like Bickman and Fung, and I have stacks of books all over my house and listening to podcasts and YouTube.
I've got mine.
She's got hers even more marked up.
Can I share something out of this book?
Yeah.
Okay, are you ready? So I want to read something out of this book. And this is very powerful because we have a kidney doctor that's helping people with diabetes. And it says conventional diabetes treatments, okay? Now, how many of you, just ask yourself this question. If you are a diabetic and you started off on medication, are you still on the same amount, or has it progressively gotten more medicine and yet your diabetes is still getting worse? We need to start asking more higher level thinking of like, the medicine really isn't fixing it, right? So in here it says the blood glucose got better, but the diabetes got worse. The medications only hide the blood glucose, and Misha talks about this, by cramming it into the already engorged cells. The diabetes looks better, but it actually got worse. And then for those of you that are talking about the neuropathy and all of these other health conditions that she addresses that I do, it says, and I'm reading it, quote, no amount of medication prevents heart attacks, congestive heart failure, strokes, kidney failure, amputations, blindness when diabetes gets worse. And we're talking about a kidney doctor that changed his entire focus because he started asking himself as a doctor, who are all these people that have chronic kidney disease? They had diabetes and high blood pressure, the majority of them. And he switched his whole focus now. And we distill this information and bring it to you.
So Cheryl is asking, is insulin resistance and diabetes two different things? No. It starts with hyperinsulinemia, or too much insulin in the blood. Then your body starts to become resistant to it, which is insulin resistance. And what I say is diabetes and also Alzheimer's are end stage insulin resistance. Your insulin resistance has gotten so bad that now it's become this other thing. Diabetes type 2 is actually end stage insulin resistance. Your body has gotten to a point where it can no longer offload all of this energy that you're eating as food into the cells or into the fat, and so it's spilling back into your bloodstream. Now your cells are sick of the insulin and the energy. Now your fat cells are full and sick of it, and now it's ending up in your bloodstream, wondering where it's going to go because there's no place else that will take it. So that glucose kind of becomes homeless and it's running around in your blood, causing a lot of different damage in the blood.
Yeah, I'm going to hold up my little motto here. It's insulin resistance affects every single organ in your body. Oh, if they all fell off. But from head to toe, everywhere your blood circulates, when you have insulin resistance, it's impacting everything. I had my other stuff on here. Listen, like statin drugs are the number one prescribed medication, and yet heart disease is the number one killer. Why is that? Just start being curious about stuff, right?
So I was talking about that at the beginning of this stuff, but I blocked that other person, by the way. They were saying just some silly stuff. You know what? It seems like there's just this paradigm where people just want to fight and they don't care. They're just, they want to be miserable, so they want everybody else to be miserable.
Yeah.
Well, look, what I talked about, what Steph is talking about is, you guys, most heart disease is a dietary disorder. So when we look at, I tell my tribe all the time, 95% of high blood pressure is caused from insulin resistance. And so when we look at that, and then we go a step further and say that 80% of cardiovascular diseases are driven by long-term hypertension. So I'm the connected dots lady. If we connect the dots and we go backward and we say 80% of cardiovascular diseases are caused by long-term hypertension, and we know that 95% of hypertension is caused by insulin resistance, that's a pretty big link. So when we look at this tile and we say 50,000 people a day are dying from cardiovascular diseases, and we come back and we just say 80% of those don't have to be because it's linked to insulin resistance through the connected dots. If we were to take 80% of those 50,000, we would be able to save around 40,000 lives a day. And so why do Steph and I talk about it? This is some of the reasons why. Do people need to be dying from cardiovascular disease? Do we need to be suffering from these things? No. I was on dual therapy for my blood pressure, and it was at 180 over 150 every single day. The lowest we could get it to was 150 over 110. And there was nights I would wake up and my blood pressure would be like 260 over 160. Should I be alive? Probably not, but I am, so I can be here to help you guys. Okay?
Yeah. So they were asking about being on insulin, and I'm going to quote Dr. Benjamin Bickham, and he says insulin is basically killing you.
Well,
we never tell anybody to get off of their medications. We always tell you to work with your provider, but this protocol, if you look at the success stories, including Misha's, people have been able to get their blood glucose and A1C numbers into normal ranges simply by following this protocol. So I believe that this system can totally help you.
What Bikman does say is, no, Dr. Benjamin Bikman is one of the top metabolic scientists in the world. And so he goes around educating doctors on metabolism. And in his talks, there are several of them on YouTube, this is what he says. When you give a patient insulin, when these doctors are giving their patients insulin, you're making them sicker quicker, or you're making them fatter quicker, you're making them sicker quicker, and you're killing them quicker. And as a result, after he gives them all the science and the evidence, he's had doctors walk up to him in tears asking him, you mean to tell me that all these years that I've been prescribing insulin to type 2 diabetics that I've been killing my patients? And he just very straight tells them, yes, sir, you have been. So I want you to think about this. If insulin is the problem, if we're already insulin resistant, and so that resistance, we have too much insulin in our bloodstream. So we're producing too much and it's causing damage in the body, and you're becoming insulin resistant because there's too much of it. Why would we ever think that
When I
putting
had
more
more.
insulin in is a good deal. So one of the best analogies that I've heard about this is if you had an alcoholic
Yeah.
and
I
they were
use that.
suffering, would you walk up and hand them a rack of beer and say, drink this, you'll feel better?
Oh, that's a great one. We got a naysayer here, Mr. Estes. All right, for all of you that have diabetes in here, how many diabetics do you know that take Metamucil? Type in yes in the chat box.
So here's the other thing. Metamucil is 2 types of fiber, one of them being psyllium husk. Those fibers are meant to clean you out. I have had so many people who have listened to Mr. People like Mr. Estes say, okay, I'm going to go do this. I'm going to go buy me some herbal mate tea and I'm going to go buy some Metamucil. And months later, they come back and they're like, Misha, I'm so sorry. I tried that. It did not work. Metformin, look at Cheryl, I am not a proponent of medications. I was on metformin. I couldn't tolerate it. Not good for my body. The PDR has changed now. You can't see all the contraindications, but there's a number of them. Your liver and your kidneys are a couple when you're on metformin. Why would you do that to your body when it's a dietary disorder? So what Steffi was saying earlier, Dr. Fung, in essence, is saying you cannot fix a dietary disorder by adding medication in. So why not just put back in what's been stripped out by the food industry so that our bodies can now deal with our food more normally? So Estes, that's great for you. And I here's the thing. I'm going to invite you to go have your own live and talk to people about Metamucil all day long. But you don't need to come to my live and do that because it's damaging people. This is 7 different types of fiber, soluble and insoluble fiber, that have been scientifically studied, clinically proven to reduce A1C and blood glucose. And Metamucil does not have those kind of studies. You will not find them anywhere. This product is in the PDR because of its scientific studies and clinical validation. It's also, we have partnerships with the American Heart Association and the American Diabetes Association for doing what we're telling you that it does. That's all the time I'm going to spend on it. Sir, if you'd like to sit here and have a great conversation, I'm more about that. But if you're trying to tell my people to do something that I can't be down with because it's not really helping, then you're welcome to leave. Okay.
Here's the other question that I want to ask, because the members that I've helped, there are a lot of people that have diabetes that's been on Metamucil, and they're still taking their diabetes medicine. They're still on insulin. They still have all of the chronic health conditions. I've never seen somebody with Metamucil and a success story of their neuropathy pain going away. Let's just put it at that.
Or overcoming their PCOS.
About the neuropathy pain.
Right.
So, and I don't see a whole bunch of influencers going on their lives and talking on their pages about Metamucil. You know, I just don't.
And now there's some Metamucil that doesn't have sugar, but Dr. Bickman brought this up when he was asked when we were
food coloring in it.
Yeah. Well, besides that, a lot of the Metamucil has added sugar in it. So we're trying to mediate the sugar, and you're going to add more sugar to your fiber product. Not a good idea. This and by the way, so there's something else I want to talk about with this too.
I think hey, you know what? I'm going to go live so we can go together.
Go live and we'll go together.
Okay. All right. I'm going to hop off and then go live.
So this product, where was I at with it? Oh no, I lost myself. My Steffi left and I lost. Okay. So it's 2 different types of fiber. Oh, that's what I was going to tell you guys. Look, so you can do this. And if you're traveling, you have this powder that's going to stop you in the airport. But you got to try and figure out how you're going to mix wherever you go. This, besides the clinical validations and the scientific studies, it comes packaged like this. I take it, this is one day, and I take that on the airplane with me. I put it in my purse. It goes with me wherever I go, and that's it. I open it up, I mix it in a bottle of water, and I drink it down 10 minutes before I eat, and my blood sugars have been normal for almost 2 years now. My blood pressure has been normal for 2 years. I don't know anybody who's told me their blood pressure got normal by taking Metamucil. So there's that. Now I'm going to get back to this until Steffi hops on, You guys, I appreciate everybody over here on Facebook hanging out, listening to Steffi gets really excited about this just like I do. And I appreciate you guys. I wish that one day I'll have her invite her to come on the live over here on YouTube and Facebook. That'll be a fun day. That'll be an exhausting day for me, but it will be a good day. So the system, I can tell you it's going to be dependent on you, on your genetics, on your diet, on how consistent you are with the system, all of that. So for me, let's take a look. I can tell you what happened with me. I was pushing 270 pounds. I lost 50 pounds in 5 months. I did not lose any weight on the scale for the first 6 weeks. My neuropathy started going away immediately. Within a couple of months, all my skin tags were gone. The skin discoloration on my elbows, on my knees, in my groin, that was gone. My energy was better day 1. My blood pressure was better by day 6. And then it took a while for that to normalize. So different symptoms got better for me at different rates. But you'll notice things like energy and the better sleep right away. So as far as normalizing my A1C, I was at 7.4 when I started. It's down to 5.3 now. It took about 6 months for that to happen. So my glucose numbers now are right around 100 every morning when I wake up. And if it's a little over 100 for some people, that's okay, because there is this thing called the dawn phenomenon where your cortisol is kicking up and it's creating this thing for you to wake up and have energy for the day. So but it's what you want is for your glucose numbers to stay level after you've eaten. Not level, they're going to spike a little bit, but you don't want them to spike a lot. So I have questions about what is the system, and I'm going to get to that here in a second. So the system is really 3 products: a tea I drink in the morning. I'm actually having my second one right now. And then a pre-meal drink that I have before I eat anything. I had my breakfast about 10:30 this morning. I haven't eaten my second meal. When I'm done with this live, I'll have my second meal. This has 7 different fibers in it. It helps you. Thank you. I'm going to go over these 2 products right now, but before I do, I'm going to show you where you can find it, okay? And then we'll dive into the products. So if you're on TikTok, you're going to find me by tapping on my picture up top, and that will get you to my profile page that looks something like this. Right under my picture is these red lights, and there's a link. You want to click on that link. If you're on Facebook, you're going to go to the page that you're on right now, which is Vibrant Living with Misha. Woo! Now everything is tiled out. Okay, so there's that, and there's a link down there for you. And then on YouTube, you'll just be on my channel, and there's a link right there. When you click on any of those, it's going to take you to my landing page. The top one is where you're going to go click to order. You need to make sure that it says Michelle Fayant at the top. That's what connects you to me and gets me coaching you for free, as much as or as little as you need. Okay, so there's that. Now let's move back to here. So the products themselves, let's take a look at what that looks like. I want to show you guys what these are, why I get so excited, because I struggled, you guys. I did everything that I could think of to help my diabetes, to help me get all this under control, and none of that stuff that these people are talking about works. Now look, if it works for you, great. But most people are in the same boat I was, where it just wasn't working. So let me get there. So there's the products: a tea in the morning, a pre-meal drink before you eat anything, combined with some intermittent fasting. Oh, there. Okay. So this is what your day looks like. I'll come back to that. Let's go into the products. The tea, by the way, it helps you feel full before you even think about your day. So I wake up in the morning, I have this tea. It helps me feel great all day. I can have it at any time. It doesn't give me crashes. It's not addictive. It suppresses my hunger and cravings by using my stored fat for fuel. So I'm burning fat instead of storing it, and that gives me energy. It boosts my mood and mental and physical performance. It improves endurance and strength during exercise, and it promotes healthy digestion. So why it's working, there's 3 different adaptogens in this. Now, let me explain adaptogens. There's a little bit of naturally occurring caffeine in this. The adaptogens are things that attach to that caffeine molecule and change the way it reacts in your body. Cheryl, I'm so sorry for that. And Savannah, thank you for the comment on my glasses. Okay. So yeah, high blood sugar is no joke, no joke. That needs to be addressed. And this will help get the blood sugars under control. I'm going to show you how and why. So these adaptogens attach to the caffeine molecule, but they have a number of really great properties to them. When they attach to the caffeine molecule, it changes everything. So the first one is these chlorogenic acids, and they promote neuroprotective gene expression and have an antioxidant effect in your brain. They promote feelings of well-being and support healthy blood sugar and glucose levels. And there's 375 times. So when we were talking about, oh, I'll just go get yerba mate tea and I'll just do Metamucil, there's 375 times the chlorogenic acids in this as in any standard yerba mate tea. So if you want to steep 375 bags of tea in a day and get all the pesticides and toxins that come along with it, great. I choose to do this tea. So the Unimate also has theobromine in it, and it's a mood boosting molecule, the same one found in chocolate, and it's got 3 times as much as those high quality chocolates have in them. They support healthy blood pressure and cholesterol levels. They promote a feeling of calmness and remove or reduce your mental fatigue and improve your focus. The last adaptogen in here is called mate saponins. They're a class of molecules that are specific to the yerba mate plant, and they support healthy triglycerides and the body's ability to burn fat. In those mate saponins are this class of saponins called triterpenoid saponins that are also suggested to have human health benefits, including lowering serum cholesterol, and providing antioxidant and anti-cancer activity in the brain. So you can have it at any time. We can go back over all of that, but that's the tea. You can have it in the morning, you can have it in the afternoon. It does not break your fast, and it helps support your fast. So the balance, this is what we were talking about, Steffi and I. There's 4 different proprietary blends in this pre-meal drink that we have, okay? So we're going to go over each one of those. But what the balance is doing is it's reducing this glucose spike. So Cheryl, you're talking about your glucose going up so high. This helps reduce that spike. When you have these high glucose spikes, you're keeping your insulin high, and when your insulin is high, you can't burn fat, you can't break down fat, and it stimulates your fat storage. Plus, you have this glucose crash or reactive hypoglycemia that's causing you to feel cold, tired, and fatigued after you've just eaten. So unmediated by fibers, the proper fibers in your system, this is what happens. We spike our glucose, our insulin comes up. Insulin finally starts to come down, we eat again and spike our glucose, and we continue doing that, keeping the insulin high, and we become insulin resistant and have all these problems. The protocol is allowing us to control that glucose so that it's not spiking so high, and the insulin can come back down, and you can get into a normal metabolic mode more quickly and naturally. So the Biosphere proprietary formula is a unique blend that includes 5 different sources of fiber, and they help support cholesterol levels and slow down the conversion of high glycemic carbohydrates. So science has shown, and again, there's no scientific study showing that for this, but science has shown, and there's scientific studies that show that this product takes a high glycemic food and makes it the equivalent of a medium glycemic food, which is huge. It also reduces blood glucose spikes by 27% with 1 serving, blood insulin spikes by 13% with 1 serving. Nothing like that on that other product, okay? So there's the 7X technology, which is specialized viscous fibers. What they do is they get inside your gut. When they hit the enzymes in your gut, they start to thicken up, and they form this thick gel matrix that starts to make you feel full before you've eaten, so you're less likely to overeat. They encapsulate those sugars and fats, so it's, again, slowing them down, keeping you fuller longer, and preventing those glucose spikes. So then there's these proprietary blend of plant sterols and nutrients that are helping with cholesterol absorption and your heart health. And then they've gone in and said, okay, these are vitamins and minerals that support the metabolism. So we're going to add these in, and that's going to help people digest and metabolize their food even better. So instead of just having a fiber or two, it has all of this in there that's been designed to support your metabolism, and that's why the product is working. So let me flip the camera back around. So Cheryl, this isn't about losing weight, okay? So let's not get that confused. People will think sometimes, oh, this is about weight loss. No, it's not. Some people need to lose weight, and excess weight is caused by excess insulin. If you have diabetes, you have too much insulin, and we still need to mediate those sugars in your system so that all the other stuff can get better. Your vascularity can get better. Your nerve responses can get better. It causes things like periodontitis, bleeding teeth and gums, your hair falling out, your eyesight going bad, migraine headaches and body aches and pains and arthritis. All of those things, as well as gut microbiome being off, so your immune system goes down. You start having more problems with allergies. All of those things happen when you're insulin resistant. By allowing your body to become, hey, Amory, be more sensitive to insulin, it helps reduce all of those other symptoms that follow along with insulin resistance. So it doesn't have to do with weight for some people. Some people are very lean and still diabetic. Does that mean that we can't address their blood sugars and help that along in their body? No, it means that we need to do that, but it also means that their fat reacts differently under the stress of insulin than other people. So it's not about the weight, although for some people it can be. We really want to pay attention to the symptoms that are happening besides the weight. That's why I don't highlight weight loss on my channel a lot, because I want people to start focusing on health. Weight comes off as a result of health. Okay. And weight loss is more a deal of hormones and hormone regulation than just calorie counting. So I appreciate that you've lost weight before you found out you had diabetes, but if you still have diabetes, you still need to mediate those sugars and those fats in your system. Okay. Anybody over on Facebook have questions? Hey, Dawn, everybody's on this afternoon. And Dale Jean. So you guys, I want to go over a couple of things. Again, if you're interested in the system, if you're suffering with diabetes, whether you have excess weight or not, I'm going to invite you to go to my profile, click on the link up there on TikTok. Right under the red lights, you'll find that button that you can click on, or the link. That'll take you to where you can order the product. Again, it's a tea in the morning and a pre-meal drink before you eat anything. So no meal replacement shakes, no pills, no injections, none of that. You add these to your day because we're putting back what's been stripped out, and then you get to eat the foods that you love. So I normally have a decent breakfast that's high in protein, like sausage and eggs and a pear. Today I'm having, I was supposed to have it yesterday and I didn't, but I'm having cranberry chicken and some sweet potatoes for dinner. So do I eat bland? No. Do I eat what I want? Yes. Friday night, I'm taking my children out, my grown children out to dinner at a really great Indian food place here in town. So we'll all enjoy that. Now, a lot of Indian food is high in carbohydrates. Am I going to worry about it? Nope. I'm not going to pass up the paneer. I'm not going to pass up any of that. I'm going to have my balance before my meal, and I can walk right into the restaurant with this. I just ask for a glass of cold water and I mix it up, and then I'm done. I go about the rest of my dinner and I enjoy myself. So that's it. You guys, you can eat what you love. You're just going to use the tools to help you along the way. Okay. I don't know if Steph is on yet. I don't see her. So, maybe she is. Boy, I don't know. Okay. Steffi is high energy. I hope you guys are ready for her if she accepts or not. Um, it's been a crazy, crazy day. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. I do want to go over a couple of things while I'm waiting to see if she's going to hop in or not. We do have studies and partnerships with places like the Cleveland Clinic, okay, which is the #1 heart hospital in the world. We have partnerships.
There we go.
With, hey, the University of Sydney and all these others. So here's Steph. I'm gonna stop talking about that. How you doing, honey?
Oh, good. I was just showing this picture of insulin resistance. And by the way, you guys, this is my amazing friend Misha, and she's had such amazing success stories. But I was going to read out of one of our favorite books. You've probably already mentioned it, but I think it adds value when people see that what we're saying is like written in books by medical doctors as well. Okay, are you okay? Oh yeah, look at we got the pictures up here. So here we go. All right, in this book here, which I absolutely love. A lot of my people on my page said that they're struggling with diabetes and they're taking medicine. So conventional diabetes treatment, what does it say? How to make the problem worse. All right. And it says the blood glucose got better with insulin, but the diabetes got worse. Okay. And Misha, we already mentioned this. The medication only hides the blood glucose by cramming it into the already engorged cells. The diabetes looks better, but it actually got worse. Now, here's the kicker. Okay, no amount of medication prevents what? Heart attacks, congestive heart failure, strokes, kidney failure, amputations, blindness that results when diabetes gets worse. Okay, and he gives the example of hiding the blood glucose. I'm gonna turn my little thing around. He gives a good example of hiding the blood glucose, like hiding garbage in your house. You're literally you're not really getting rid of it or excreting it. You're hiding it in the body, and everything in your body begins to rot. Okay, the neuropathy, the what I call the sticky blood, the poor circulation, all of the chronic health conditions that you struggled with were a result of this insulin resistance, that diagram that she has. All right.
No.
Sorry, I
See,
kind
no.
of went on a rampage, but
So I want to talk about medications because I know they were asking about it and you were kind of alluding to it. So here's the thing, guys. When we talk about things like Mounjaro, Trulicity, Ozempic, I know I'm going to get my little hand slapped for saying those things, but they're called GLP-1 agonists. What they're doing is they're forcing an action in your body that's creating more insulin. And again, just like an insulin injection, if insulin is already the problem, if your pancreas is already stressed, putting out too much insulin, why would we think that it's a good idea to force the body to produce more of that to deal with the problem? Why wouldn't we address the root cause of the problem and address that issue? When you do those things, you're starting to cause problems in the body with the liver, the kidneys, whatnot. Dr. Bickman says anybody who's on Ozempic, he says, get off of it as quickly as you can. Now, there's something that happens with Ozempic, with all of those GLP-1 agonists that people don't like to talk about because Big Pharma wants to sell their medications. Your fat cells can be either hypertrophic, meaning they grow, or they're hyperplastic, meaning they duplicate. Those GLP-1 agonists are creating a system in your body where you're duplicating your fat cells. You're actually gaining more fat cells. So now your numbers are coming down because you've increased the insulin output, but you've also increased the storage places for that to go. When the nausea and that part that's making you not be so hungry with those GLP-1 agonists goes away, which he says, as a scientist, he says that happens within about 2 years. Now you're coming off the medication. It's not as effective for you, but now guess what happens? You've doubled your fat cells. So now what's going to happen? You're going to gain that weight back. You're going to gain it back with a force. I've had women who have contacted me. It's destroyed their thyroid. It's put their kidneys at risk. They've had a number of other disorders from using those drugs. So it may feel great and it may look great in the short term, but in the long term, at what cost? At what cost? I would rather have a healthy body inside and a little bit extra weight than skinny on the outside and destroyed on the inside. It's your choice, but which one are you going to choose?
Yeah.
Because the quick
Yeah,
solution
I agree.
always comes at a cost. The quick solution always comes at a cost.
Well, here's the other thing. When you went to, everybody's desperate to lose weight. And really, you know, we want to lose that weight, but at what expense? And the thing for us is now that we know, like what we talk about on our page are plant-based alternatives. And here's the one thing, I know you have it on your page, but we were talking about this for weight loss, but also people use this for diabetes. But one of the ways, a mechanism of action that this works, don't want to get too scientific, but what if I told you that there was a plant-based alternative that activates the same GLP-1 receptor with no adverse side effects, that doesn't cause, look at you guys, listen, I have the insert for this, and let me tell you, it's freaking crazy. You can't even see it on the whole, it's front and back, okay? And they have to list the adverse side effects. Now, there is a plant-based alternative, okay, that does not cause any adverse side effects, that helps suppress your hunger, that helps you burn the visceral fat, okay, not muscle, and you feel fantastic, okay? And everybody in your family can take it, because I can guarantee you, you don't want everybody in your family taking
I have an
this,
11-year-old
because-
who's reversed her prediabetes doing this. So I have a couple of questions here. So they both, okay, OG Thrifter says they both cost money. It's not worth it. And how do you compare that to the tea? I'm not quite sure about that. So I'm not sure about that. Can you clarify that question for me? Hannah is, what's the herbal counterpart to Ozempic or Mounjaro? The system, this protocol that we're doing. So it's a tea that, I'm going to turn this back around, you guys. I'm sorry. It's a tea that I have in the morning. So it's not just a tea that I have in the morning that's shutting down my hunger, giving me energy, giving me mental clarity, increasing my wellness score. So it's helping with anxiety, depression, all of that, getting nutrients to the brain so the brain can utilize and dopamine more efficiently. And then it has anti-cancer, antioxidant properties in it. Then pre-meal drink, which is 7 different soluble and insoluble fibers, vitamins, minerals, and plant substances that help with healthy heart, the mediation of cholesterol, fats, and fats as in triglycerides, and sugars. So this is what we do. I drink a tea in the morning. I do a little bit of intermittent fasting. Today I was almost at 18 hours and I wasn't even hungry, but I knew that I needed to eat so I could get my food in the right time. After this live, I'll have my second meal. I'll drink this. I set a timer for 10 minutes. When that timer goes off, I sit down and have my meal. That's it. I am off 10 different medications, no medications now whatsoever. None.
Medicines. Listen, you guys, for those of you that don't know, Misha's the reason why I started this. We were friends before we started this protocol, but her blood pressure improved in 2 freaking weeks.
6
And
days.
she was like,
6 days.
huh?
6 days. 6 days
6
after I
days.
started, I had my first normal blood pressure reading in 20 years. Now, you guys, because I answered that, yes, they help with weight loss, because weight loss is too much insulin in your body. Your body cannot put on weight if you're not having too much insulin. But if you're interested in it, you're going to go to our profile, whoever's page you're on, click on the picture up above. It's going to take you to our profile. You'll find a link there. Click on the link. It'll take you to our landing page where you can order the products. Now, if you order from Steffi, you get her as a coach. If you order from me, you get me as a coach. So it's important that our names show up at the top so that you can get that. Go ahead, Steph.
Yeah. Oh, 2 things. 1, somebody's asking what your blood pressure was. And 2, when you're talking about the fat loss, after you share your blood pressure, I want to share my before and after pictures. I have your before and after pictures. That's Misha's, okay? This is mine, okay? We're completely two different types of build. We're completely two different types of women that had major success, okay? I didn't have a lot of chronic health conditions, okay? I went from size 14 to size 6 in 4 months simply by using this protocol. All of my visceral fat is gone. I have 4-pack abs without doing a single sit-up. And I remember Misha telling me, you got to share your story, Stephanie. And I'm like, but I didn't have diabetes. I don't have a story. She's like, yes, you do, girl. So now she's encouraged me to share my pictures because, this is real. There's another success story of Alexa. There's another success story.
47 pounds. I love this picture because this, to me, she looks like she's lost more. At this point, she'd lost 43 pounds. This is what we're talking about. Fat weighs less per volume than muscle. So when you're doing the system, you're allowing your body to retain healthy, natural, dense tissue, not just muscle, ligaments, tendons, bone. And so that weighs more than fat. She's lost all of this fat, has been able to put back on muscle and lean tissue that she needs to be healthy, and she's not exercising. It's a natural effect of giving your body what it needs. That's Christy. There's my guy, Jason. Jason, by the way, has lost 167 pounds in just over a year. Cindy's lost 117 pounds in a year. So I had a question, will it help with weight loss? I hope this is answering that question. When I was talking about hyperplastic, trophic fat, I can go back to why Karen had such high A1C and very little fat, and Cindy had very low A1C but a lot of fat. We can explain that if anybody's interested. And there's Steffi, there's Dia, cancer survivor, and a number of other issues. She's doing amazing and has energy that she hadn't had. Now, I like to show this little guy. Type 1 youth. When Steffi was saying Ozempic, would you want to give that to your kids? Could you give it to your kids? This little man is on the system, lost over 35 pounds at 11 years old, got his mental clarity back, his mood back, and is well maintained as a type 1 diabetic on the system. So it's not just about type 2 diabetes. It's not just about weight. It can work. It works. I have other family members who are type 1 and they use the system. I have 3 generations in my family using the system, myself, my daughter, and my grandchildren. My ADHD, so Steffi doesn't mention it, I'm going to. She has ADHD, I have ADD, my grandson has ADHD, I'm autistic, my daughter's autistic. We found great success with our mental focus, and for my daughter and I, our ability to deal with sensitivities much better while on the system. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
For some reason, it was going in and out.
Because my alarm was going off, my affirmation alarm.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
You are awesome. You is beautiful. You is awesome. Listen,
hey,
we're
Janice.
still working and growing, developing our body, mind, and spirit. Now, somebody did, if they're still on here, somebody was asking about your blood pressure. We got little.
Oh, yeah. So my blood pressure was 180 over 150 every single day. Okay. Every day. We could get it down to about 150 over 110. That was on dual therapy. There were several nights during the week I would wake up with like an anxiety, panic attack type of thing. At those points, my blood pressure would be 260 over 160 and sometimes higher. And I went to the emergency room enough times. Like, what are you going to do? You're already on medication. What are they going to do for you? How many times are you going to get your ass out of bed and go to the emergency room in the middle of the night? I literally laid in bed at night and cried, thinking that night was going to be the night that my heart would explode. My children were going to have to try and call me, not get a hold of me and think, oh, mom's just busy, wait a day or two, and then come find my body dead in bed. I lived with that fear every day, and it was real. That was real. It tore me up thinking that that's what I was going to leave my kids. I don't have that anymore.
Wait a minute. Okay, so let's just recap here. What was your blood pressure before the protocol, before the system? How high did it get?
180. Oh, it would get up to 260, once over 160 or higher, depending on, I mean, generally a couple of nights a week, it was about 260 over 160. Some nights it would be a little higher, and it was horrible, painful. Like it, yeah. But every single day, 180 over 150. Every day.
And then you corrected me within 6 days, it improved.
Within 6 days, I had my first normal reading. I'd gone into a doctor's because I was at the doctor's twice a month at minimum at that time. They did my normal vitals and my blood pressure was 126 over 84. I screamed like a little girl. My doctor, because I used to work for her, made the MA come in and redo my blood pressure, and it was still that low because she couldn't believe, she had been working on my blood pressure for years, couldn't believe that it was that low. I do my blood pressure every morning. I don't have my watch here now, but every morning I wake up. What do you think my blood pressure is now? I'm not on any medications. And I'm not doing any of that. What do you suppose? 59 years old, voluptuous woman. What would you suspect the blood pressure would be?
Well, I would say before the system pretty high, but now maybe like 130 over 78. I don't know.
112
140?
over 72 every morning. 112 over 72 every morning.
What? Man,
No
112
medications.
over 72.
Not damaging my heart, not damaging my kidneys, not damaging my liver, not causing any of that damage in my body at all. It's been amazing. Just that having my blood pressure, you guys. So I couldn't sleep at night. There was pain. I was riddled with pain. I was in so much pain I couldn't sleep. I had sleep apnea waking me up 60 times an hour, and then my heart rate would go off the charts. Well, no wonder if you're in that much pain and you're having sleep apnea, your heart's going to start to be like crazy. So I never got more than an hour or two of sleep, if I ever got that much. And you wonder why you're sick and hurting. So that's what happened. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just holding up the heart. It's like, how much life have you added to your life just by improving your blood pressure, let alone all of the other, the diabetes, the adrenal fatigue, like all of these other, your feet that you showed us earlier, your neuropathy pain, like all gone away simply by practicing the intermittent fasting and adding these two plant-based tools. And you know, people will listen to you. Listen, on my page, her story is the pin number one. It's over, like, it has 600,000 views. Why? Because she's rattling off what we're talking about now. And a lot of the comments on my page are like, this is a lie, this isn't true. But you're seeing it right here. Like, you know, numbers don't lie, people. Those are all, she has to list them all because she can't remember them.
I can't remember. And I was watching I was actually watching a little video on restless legs, autism. I need to add that to here too. But restless legs was another one I suffered with, that I don't have that anymore. I'm not laying awake at night with these weird pains in my legs, not waking up to leg cramps that are making me scream like a sailor, saying words that nobody should hear.
Yeah.
But okay, Steffi, I love you, but I gotta go. I've been on here for an hour and I still haven't got my content done for the day. Thanks for sharing some space with me today, and I will see you later. Guys, hop on Steph's live. Thank you guys for hanging out with me.
Yeah, I love the red. You're like totally matching today.
A red everywhere today. Bye. I'm gonna shut the live off this time and not leave it running for an hour.